As promised in my last creepypasta reaction, I said that I would react to I never should have cured my tinnitus creepypasta video. I did one last week and this was going to be the next one and I kept my word, and today we'll be reacting to it. Of course, all rights go to CreepyPastaJr. He's the original uploader of this, so all credit goes to him. I'm just showing my appreciation for his videos, and I'm just reacting to him because they're really good videos. But without further ado, let's just begin with the reaction. I've never seen this one before. Let's just begin. Intro I love. Volume's at 40. Let's go. CreepyPastaJr.
Tinnitus. A nightmare of a disease affecting millions of people, myself included. How could I best describe this condition? An incessant nail-on-a-chalkboard screeching that goes on for every minute of every day. Just imagine to never experience the true bliss of utter silence. Maybe it's not too uncommon to hear a vague ringing, especially for people like me, growing up to be an obnoxious teenager with no regard for volume control. Understandably, my parents were not happy about me blasting loud music at all hours of the day.
Yeah.
But
don't ruin your ears. Take care of your ears. Don't listen to loud music. It'll ruin your ears. You'll go deaf. I'm just saying that right now. It's the truth.
what kind of teenage rebel would I have been if I listened to my parents? Ultimately, my punishment would be given years later when I started hearing a faint ringing. At first, it was a rare occurrence, but at present day, I can't even fall asleep without the aid of a loud white noise-producing machine. But even then, my quality of rest is debatable at best. During the early days, I was willing to try any ailment to stop the godforsaken noise.
Oh, me too. If I had that,
sleeping,
I'd go nuts.
Earwax removal, and even a small dose of antidepressants. Nothing worked. You'd be amazed how many help groups you can find online. Forums for anything. Veterans with PTSD, how to cope with losing a pet, or in my case, how to deal with tinnitus. I had looked over the top suggestions on several occasions. Most I had already tried while visiting my doctor, while the rest were mostly scams more suited for multi-level marketing campaigns.
Don't trust scams.
I used to call myself an optimist, so naturally I would return to the forum every other week in hopes of finding a miracle cure. On one particular day, I decided to scroll a bit further down and see the less popular suggestions. Among the obvious troll posts and scam cures, I found a more clickbaity post that read, "A weird trick to cure tinnitus. Nothing more, nothing less."
Imagine if one of the cures was to cut your ears off. I was half expecting him to say that, but it sadly didn't, so I said it instead. Imagine one of those cures was to cut your ears off. Of course, if you have tinnitus, I feel bad for you, and don't cut your ears off. Don't.
I sighed and decided to give it a shot, preparing myself to be disappointed yet again. But the instructions were simple enough. Place your palms on your ears and direct your fingers to the back of your head. Put your index fingers on top of your middle fingers and try to snap them, like a drum. Repeat 50 to 100 times. There were no comments below as the post was relatively new. Worst case, I would look stupid sitting there by myself and drumming on the back of my head. So I tried it out. I snapped my fingers, causing a little drumming sensation on the back of my head. 47, 48, 49, 50. That ought to do it. I removed my palms from my ears and listened intently. Nothing. For the first time in years, there was just the pure bliss of silence. For minutes, I just sat back in awe, not believing what I was hearing. Or more accurately, not hearing. Had this random trick actually worked? I decided that rather than enjoying my newfound silence, I would give my brain a well-earned silent rest. And
But at what cost, though? This is a creepypasta after all, so nothing can ever go good. At what cost? Your tinnitus is now gone, but now what will happen?
that's exactly what I did. I slept like a baby that night, until around 2 in the morning. I tend to wake up randomly during the night anyway, so it was little cause for concern. To my disappointment, but not surprise, the screeching had returned. I half expected the solution to be a temporary one at best anyway. I simply performed the witchcraft-like trick and the ringing was gone without a trace again. With a sigh of relief, I settled back into bed. The sound that had haunted me for so long had been easily defeated by a helpful anonymous person online, and I was content. I only then realized that I wasn't enveloped in complete silence. There was something else cowering in the dark, only letting its presence known by a soft thud.
Uh-oh.
Could it be my own heartbeat? After all these
That's
years, would I
possible.
be haunted by a new sound? I held 3 fingers on the side of my neck and felt my pulse. It didn't match the sound in the darkness. Although I tried, placing the sound proved to be a challenge.
What is that?
With each passing
By
thud, I
that
tried
window.
to localize it a bit more.
It's moving.
I went as far as opening
Wonder
every
what that
cupboard in
is.
my apartment, checked in the hallways, and lastly, placed my ear against the wall. No sooner did my ear hit the wall before the sound stopped. My heart raced alongside my logical mind. There had to be a simple explanation. Maybe it was a leaky pipe or one of my neighbors being loud. No matter the cause, I put it out of my mind and went back to bed. In the morning, the ringing returned. I figured I could put the noise at bay by performing the trick every 6 hours. It quickly became a routine of mine to stupidly tap my head when no one was looking. But it worked. Everything was great, apart from my nightly routine of waking up around 2 a.m. and hearing the same thumping, softly keeping me company in the darkness. Most nights I simply ignored it, but other nights curiosity got the better of me, and I pursued the
Curiosity
sound.
killed the cat.
Each night was another failure to locate the sound. I couldn't place it, and I couldn't bother keeping myself up long enough to figure out when it started and when it ended. I talked to my neighbors, but they denied being up at such late hours. Rats were another option that crossed my mind, but after a quick visit by pest control, they assured me that there were no rats living within my walls. In fact, after looking at the building plans, they insisted that it would be impossible for rats to live inside these walls. As a last resort, I decided I would record myself sleeping. I had heard there were a bunch of apps that only record if there's a noise, so I figured it would be ideal for the situation I was in. I downloaded a free recording app and
Do y'all remember those videos, those 3 a.m. videos back in like 2016, 17, if I'm correct, where like all those fake ghost hunters would record themselves sleeping and conveniently catch something on camera? Those videos were annoying in my opinion, and this brought back memories, of course, to when I saw those the first time.
went to bed. Just like every other night, I woke up around 2 a.m., but decided I would ignore the sound and let my phone do its work. I had some earplugs that came in handy, and without further troubles, I fell back asleep. After waking up the following morning, I brewed myself a much-needed cup of joe and sat down,
Cup of Joe.
figuring I could put all the recording into an editing software and look at the amplitude, rather than listening through it all. The thumps began around midnight, and continued for several hours. Other than that, I found mostly sounds of myself tossing and turning around in bed. However, at 3:30 a.m. there was a short pause consisting of complete silence, as if every sound had been erased from existence. It was not more than a minute before the sound returned, but it wasn't a soft thumping anymore. It sounded more like whispering.
That's scary.
Just incomprehensible voices talking to no one in particular. I couldn't make out what was said on the recording. My phone isn't exactly a technological wonder. In fact, I had no interest in finding out. If anything, I would have preferred to leave the apartment and forget about the whole thing. But being a poor student without any nearby family, I had no other option than to stay put. After some hesitation, I came to the ridiculous conclusion that if I could hear the actual whispering, I could probably locate the source. So when night came, I went to bed, fully expecting to be awoken at the same usual time.
Something
And from
else
then, I
happened.
would search for the noise.
Something else is gonna pop
2
off.
a.m. rolled around, and I was awoken by the familiar yet eerie thumping. It had turned from an intriguing part of my nightly routine to a dreaded enemy. It was relentless, not stopping for a single second. And as before, I had trouble locating.
I don't know if y'all just heard that, but I cracked my toes. So yeah, I don't know if you guys heard that. Don't assume the worst. I did crack my toes.
The exact location. Somehow it managed to echo throughout my room like an auditory illusion. At precisely 3:31 a.m., the sound abruptly stopped. I held my breath in anticipation, waiting for whatever voice to start talking.
Dude, I love that picture. That, whatever that is, apartment, hotel, whatever, I like that. That's creepy. I think I saw another video of this guy that had that same image when he was talking. I do want to react to that one. I think I know which one it is. It's called The Eighth Floor. I think I'm going to react to that one next, because that one, I've seen it before, and it's one of my top 5 favorites of this guy. One of my top 5 favorites. So I will react to that one next, so that's going to be the next creepypasta reaction. The Eighth Floor.
The whispers began, and unlike the thumps, I could immediately tell its origin. It came from the wall directly behind my bed. I knew there couldn't possibly exist anything behind that wall. No apartment nor crawl space. Just a concrete barrier separating my room from the outside world. I crawled onto my bed with cautious steps, as if approaching a wild animal, carefully putting my ear against the wall. The whispers started to become more focused, turning into a single understandable phrase.
Oh.
You can finally hear us. It sounded like several broken voices morphed into a singular
That's
entity.
terrifying.
I jolted back on my bed, where I remained frozen in fear.
You can finally hear us, I think that's what they said. That's terrifying. My gosh.
For letting us.
Wait.
You. For letting us in. The voices continued before
Thank you for
falling silent.
letting us in.
My head started to feel faint. It took me a while to realize that I hadn't been breathing for quite some time. I forced a gasp, bringing air into my lungs, trying desperately to calm down. While trying to come up with a plan, the thumping returned. Only this time I heard exactly where it was coming from. The soft thumps turned into loud pounds along the side of my wall. They moved along the wall, working its way towards the hallway outside my bedroom. I could vaguely make out a shadow beneath the door as it moved past it.
No way.
I always keep my bedroom door locked.
That's good.
A habit brought
Me
with
too.
me from living with intruding family members. But I knew that wouldn't stop whatever this was. The creature started knocking on the door and thumping after each knock, the same thump I had become accustomed to over the past few weeks. It spoke to me with a broken voice. It's too late to lock us out. They
It's
said.
too late to block us out.
What are you? I stuttered back. We are the acolytes. We wanted to be heard. It then punched at my door, small cracks appearing around the hinges. We have always been here. Another punch on my door, and the upper hinges broke. I would have called the police or anyone for that matter, but I had inconveniently left my phone in my jacket pocket.
Oh.
So
That's no
instead, I
good.
grabbed whatever clothes I had lying on the floor and climbed out of the window using the fire escape. I didn't want to take my chances with that thing. As I climbed down, I heard the door break open above me, but I didn't look back.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
After escaping, I found a nearby gas station and used their phone to dial the police. Without going into the specifics, I told them that there was an intruder in my apartment, and explained that I had fled down the fire escape. Of course, when they checked the apartment, there was no one to be found.
Yeah.
The door to my bedroom was shattered, but I couldn't prove it was a new development in my otherwise messy apartment. They had to break down my front door to get in, and I knew my landlord was going to be pissed, but I didn't really care about that. After a
Yeah, I
very
probably
brief
wouldn't either.
investigation checking the security camera to confirm that no one could possibly have entered my apartment, I was let off with a warning not to prank call the police again with my imaginary problems. Another officer offered a number for a facility that deals in psychiatric issues.
Psychiatric
While
issues.
the police were there, I grabbed a bag and filled it with the bare essentials. I left that night to return home to my parents. I'm never going back to that place again. I've
Yeah, I
called my
wouldn't either.
landlord and explained that they can keep my deposit alongside whatever stuff I left behind. A few days have passed since I left, and my tinnitus has returned louder than ever.
Oh,
But
that's
I'm
no
happy
good.
about it. By allowing myself to hear the creature, I inadvertently let it in. So I saw it as a bittersweet blessing to let the tinnitus hide the thing that goes thump in the night.
That's a good one. I like that a lot. Oh. That was good. That was pretty scary. That was a good one. That was a good one. Those voices, man, they scared me a little bit. I didn't expect that. I didn't really expect that. Those voices, they were good. The disappearance of Peter Madison. I don't know, that face kind of attracts my attention, but that was the reaction to I Never Should Have Cured My Tinnitus, CreepyPastaJr. It was a good one. I would, on the meter I made, I don't know if you saw the last episode, but I made like a scare meter of how like scared I was during the video. It's about an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, it was good. It was good, I liked it a lot. But next time we'll be reacting to The Eighth Floor. I remember that one being very, very good because I have seen it before. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, comment, like, and subscribe. But love you guys. Stay safe out there. Don't cure your tinnitus because then you might hear these. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.